The White House is facing a new storm tonight. The Washington Post and other news organizations report that President Trump divulged highly sensitive information on the Islamic State group to the Russian foreign minister and ambassador last week. The accounts say it may have jeopardized the source of the intelligence. Deputy National Security Advisor Dina Powell branded the story false, and Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said Mr. Trump never discussed sources, methods, or military operations. Meanwhile, Democratic Senator Mark Warner said it's, quote, a slap in the face to the intelligence community, if it's true. A spokesman for House Speaker Paul Ryan said protecting secrets is paramount, and the Speaker, quote, hopes for a full explanation. A short time ago, I spoke to Greg Jaffe, one of the Washington Post reporters who broke the story. We're joined now by Greg Jaffe, one of the Washington Post reporters who broke the story. Greg Jaffe, tell us exactly what happened as you know it.
So the meeting with the Russian foreign minister and the Russian ambassador was taking place, and the president was sharing information with them with regard to the laptop threat that had been an issue, the concern to the threat posed by laptops, the threat posed by aviation to laptops, which had been an issue, and he was describing the nature of that threat, was boasting about the great intel he had, and in doing so may have overstepped the bounds.
So this is information that had come from a U.S. ally, is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's particularly sensitive, and I think the ally, which controls the dissemination of the information, would be upset to have learned that it landed in the Russians' hands.
It sounds as if, from your reporting, Greg, that the White House recognized pretty quickly what had happened, because you wrote that they contacted both the CIA and the National Security Agency afterwards.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they, controlled dissemination of the transcripts immediately afterwards, and they struck the references to a sort of memo summary that went out in the White House describing the meeting to ensure that the information didn't get out any further than it already had. Obviously, the problem is not internal to the U.S. government. The problem is the dissemination to the Russians.
What is the damage done here, potentially?
You know, I think there are a couple of concerns. You worry first and foremost about potentially compromising sources and methods that has allowed us to gather this intelligence over a period of time. My understanding is that this is a sort of a stream of intelligence that's been useful over quite a period of time. So I think that's the first and foremost worry. The secondary worry is that you compromise a relationship with an important ally.
I'm going to read back to you what you quote in the story, and you're quoting H.R. McMaster, the president's national security advisor. He said to you that at no time were any intelligence sources or methods discussed, and he said no military operations were disclosed that were not already known publicly.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think the worry is by sharing this intelligence with the Russians, that it potentially compromises sources and methods. In other words, this was information that was shared that the Russians weren't aware of. They didn't know how we had access to it, so I think the worry is that their ability is to reverse engineer to sort of figure out where this information was coming from.
Clearly, Greg Jaffe, you're not going to tell us your source on this story, but is it fair to say the White House did not want this information revealed?
Yeah, I think that's very fair to say that the White House is very concerned. I think both about the information shared in the Oval Office and about the story.
Where does this go from here? I mean, so the president has shared this in a conversation with the Russian foreign minister, the Russian ambassador to the U.S. What can one expect? Has there been an apology made to the ally, the country, the officials from whom the information came?
You know, I don't know the answer to that, and I think this is one of those issues where it's so unprecedented that I'm not sure where it goes from here. You know, I've been reporting on national security matters for quite a while, and it's hard to recall something like this.
Are presidents given some sort of training or guidance on how to talk about intelligence?
Well, you know, they get talking points prior to the meetings, and this is where it's important to have talking points and have a staff prepare the president and have the president be willing to listen and be prepared. And I think that's the concern, that this is a president who doesn't have a long history in government, is a president who relies on his gut and likes to wing it in meetings. And I think that's the concern here. You know, you have to be open to being staffed. And I think that's potentially what was worrisome here.
Greg Jaffe of the Washington Post, one of the reporters on this story that has just broken within the hour. Greg, we thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.